December of last year, I wrote on my list of things my goals. I want to be BFFs with Orville Peck. Then by February, I had a booking agent, and he asked me who I wanted to tour with. I said Orville. Orville started following me on Instagram, and then all of a sudden, the things were aligning. So I kept looking back at the list, being like, oh, what? What else did I ask for?
Hey friends, it's Emily Curl. We're here at our iHeartRadio studios in New York City, and today we're hanging out with singer and songwriter Goldie Boutilier. Can we give it up for Goldie in our studio, please? How was my pronunciation? I wanted to get that right for you.
Actually, you got it right.
Did I?
And nobody gets it right, ever.
God.
I didn't even notice because it was perfect.
Okay, that makes me so happy.
Are you French?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
And in fact, I try and speak French because I've been watching so much of the Paris Olympics, but my French accent, I'm Southern. It doesn't work for me.
Okay, all right.
You're French, right?
I'm part French, yeah.
Part French.
Yes.
Okay. I love it.
Great pronunciation.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
I'm so proud. Thank you. This is great. Well, we're so happy to have you at iHeartRadio. And this has been such a big week for you. You're fresh off of the Lollapalooza stage.
Yes.
Tell me about that experience. It looked absolutely insane.
Lollapalooza, it was my very first Lollapalooza. And I think, I might be lying, but I think it's my first big festival. So I had no idea what to expect. It's huge. People from Chicago, they know how to party. So it was very chaotic and crazy, and just the whole energy. But I did 2 shows in one day, which was also felt pretty cool to do, back to back. I loved it. And it's one of the first times that I'm seeing so many people singing my lyrics.
Oh, such a good feeling.
And it's still new for me, so I kind of almost feel wait, what's going on? Did someone read my diary?
You guys know this?
Yeah, I'm this is my personal stuff. So that was awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. And we were looking, at all the recaps too. The sets looked amazing. Did you get to catch any other artists performing?
No.
It's okay. You were booked and busy.
I was booked and busy, but I did look at some of the other artists' shows, on my friends' stories and stuff like that. Everything looked amazing. Obviously, Chapel Roan was
we were just talking about Chapel. That crowd.
Just a sea of people. It's so inspirational. I'm really excited to see that trajectory of a career. It's very cool.
Yeah, and just to hear her story too of she's been putting in the work for so long.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure as an artist, that's something you relate to so much.
Yeah, you don't want to hear someone be like, you know what, I just thought I'd give it a go, and it happened.
Music has been in your blood from the beginning, is that correct? You grew up in a musical household, you've always loved music?
Yeah, well, I guess I grew up in a musical household as far as, my parents were always playing music in the house, and I think that, growing up, it was a little, at times, also kind of chaotic in my household. A lot of things were going on, and my connection with music was that if music was playing in the house, everyone was happy. And so I kind of feel as a child, that was the thing that really made me love music so much. Just
took you to a safe space,
a calm
space.
Yeah. So in that sense, music was always around. And I started singing at a very young age. I don't know why. But I just always knew, from the earliest, a little note I wrote when I was 5 years old, I said I wanted to be a singer and a lawyer because I love to entertain and I also love to argue. But I've gone to therapy and now I'm just singing.
And now you can just channel that into your song, into your songwriting.
Also,
you just argue, yeah.
Yes. I'm putting it all in the right place now, so yeah.
When was the moment that you knew that this could be a career for you, that you wanted to go into something like this? And did you have a singular moment, maybe?
I think it just kind of goes back and forth because, you have those moments where you're this is hard. What am I doing? What if I'm completely delusional and everyone around me is delusional and this whole thing is just a made-up situation? And then you have the other days where you're this makes sense. It feels correct. Yeah, that's my name on the door. I don't know. It's just been kind of
adulting. That's it ebbs and flows. Yeah.
You have those moments where it's it really kicks in for you and you feel you belong there. I'm feeling that more and more. But it's also because I've done this for a long time and I really thought that I missed my shot. So this time around, I'm just really treasuring every single moment. It's a lot different than when I first started music, because I know how, like, I don't know, I just appreciate it more.
Why did you feel like you missed your shot?
Well, because I was signed. I did my first like big record deal when I was 21, and it kind of felt like everything was happening for me. Everyone was so excited. There was so much cool like excitement around the project and me. And then I was shelved, and then I was dropped, and then I got re-signed, and the whole thing really led me astray of my dreams. And so now it's been like, before this tour, I'll put it this way, I hadn't performed in a decade.
Oh,
like wow. I hadn't even been on stage because of like some trauma that I went through. I stopped performing live. I was like, I just never thought I would be able to do it again. So it's so much of a bigger deal for me. Like every time I step on stage now, I'm like conquering some real demons, and I feel like I'm winning, and that's so cool. So it's just it's a different feeling.
The first time going back on stage, I mean, what a huge moment. Not performing in a decade. What's going through your mind? How'd you prepare for that?
Well, I got an all-female band, which was really important to me, to have other women around me.
That actually just gave me chills. Like, it really is. It's
I'm like, first get an all-girls band.
Yeah, it's like, it really changes the energy. It does.
It does, because like I wanted people to be there for me and have like an emotional intelligence. I knew like I had like really gone through some tough stuff in the music industry and outside, and I just knew I needed people who could give me space and like allow for me to kind of go through that. And it's not like we really talked about it too much before the first show, but I just felt safe and supported. And the weirdest thing came over me when I was on stage. It just like all went away, and it's now I think 11 or 12 shows into the tour, and it feels like, okay, it's all good.
Yeah, we're
gonna,
back.
Yeah.
Coming back, making music and hitting the stage again, was there someone who really helped you or helped guide you or held your hand through that process?
Well, the first answer that comes to mind is no. I've done it on my own, and like, yeah, I've definitely have some. It takes a village, but it started with me. Like it really started with me believing in myself, and then kind of, I think that confidence has brought in the right people into my life. Whereas like when I was 21, just starting out, I really didn't have that confidence and that like power to step into. So I think that brought around all sorts of different characters that I don't deal with anymore.
It's interesting. I feel like confidence is something, I mean, we all know what that feels like, but like really confidence really is everything. How do you go into that headspace? Is it little things you do every day? Do you have an alter ego? I feel like you hear of artists often that have rituals to get them prepared. Yeah. Is there anything that you do to like make you feel the most confident, or even like little rituals you have in your own personal life?
It's funny that you said that some artists have rituals, because I toured with this girl once, and she told me that she would sit naked in front of the mirror and scream profanities at herself. And I was like, oh, well, I do my vocal exercises. I need to step this up. Yes. Like, okay. No, I think like as far as like confidence goes, it's just about keeping promises to yourself. So a lot of times before I would say like, okay, I really want to write an EP, or I want to finish this collection of music, and for so many reasons I just couldn't get it there. And now there's nothing that stops me from achieving the things that I want to achieve. And every time that happens, just like stepping out on stage, it's like now I have so much more confidence every time I do that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your music for a second too. For someone who's just discovering your sound, if you could point them to one song from your discography that you feel like really encapsulate who Goldie is as an artist, which would it be and why?
Do people ever give two songs for this?
Please. Absolutely.
Because if you're just discovering my music, I would say listen to Cowboy Gangster Politician. It's kind of been the song that has made me see a little like success and like what it feels like to have a song start to take off and be playlisted. and the reaction from that, like I've never had that experience before. So that's like my baby. I'm so grateful for this song. And then I would say you should listen to The Actress, which was the first single from this next EP. And that is really like a declaration of where I'm at now. And it's very strong and powerful. And I think like comparing the two, you really hear the growth as like a human being.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we're so excited for the EP, The Actress. You mentioned this. Tell us what we can expect from this body of work.
Well, I would say it's a continuation of what I've been doing for the last 2 EPs, which is like being very vulnerable and telling my story. Part of my story is that like at some point when I was doing music, I actually stopped doing music and I started escorting, and that really derailed my career. I had like drug problems and all that kind of stuff. And so when I started releasing music a couple years ago, I wanted to tell my story and show people that, like even actually show myself that I still believe in me and that you can go through all those things and you don't need to be ashamed. There's a community. I think too, like I've been touring with Orville Peck. Just his community is amazing. It just feels like like I didn't realize how many amazing people and kind people were out there. So I think with this EP, you're going to hear more of some really raw, vulnerable stories. My next release is called The Lineup, and it's about my experience working as an escort and how we would get in a line. And then, I don't know if this is too heavy for...
No, please. No, please.
But basically you'd stand in a line and someone would buy you for like an hour or the night or whatever. So it's about that experience, and that comes out August 22nd. So I'm very excited for the world to hear my take on like, the things that I've endured.
Let me just commend you and say thank you for sharing that and for your honesty and vulnerability, because I'm sure you had to get to a place to feel able to talk about those things.
Yeah.
What has been the fan response to hearing your story, to hearing these moments again? Because I know you're not the only one who's experienced maybe something like that.
Oh my God, I think it's so not as rare as I thought it was. I think that's the thing with our problems. We all think our problems are unique and special, but in fact, it's very relatable. Whether someone has done like what I've, had the experiences that I had exactly or something different. I think a couple of things happened for me. One, I needed to know that people would still be there for me if they knew who the real me was. And the response has been so amazing, and I've heard from like a lot of female singers that said like they were feeling like giving up, but hearing my story, it's like, thank you for telling this. Even just like as far as being a musician who never gave up on herself. So that's been beautiful, and I feel less alone in the world, and I guess that's very important.
It's so important. It's so important. And for someone who's maybe watching this video who's been in that place, what would you say to them to get to the place that you're at now?
Oh dear.
Or maybe even what's the first step? We'll make it even like the first step of getting to a different place.
Radical honesty with yourself, and see who sticks around. And the people who don't, they're not worth it. And you're going to find your community and your people, and you're going to thrive. And maybe at first it might feel like a little bit lonely, but sometimes, I know it's cheesy, but you have to close one door for another door to open. Like, we can't find our true friends when we're hanging out with people that don't like love and respect us. So,
amen.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. We love it. And you mentioned going on tour with Orville Peck and the great experience you had. I love him. I'm such a fan. The first time I heard him was actually like many, many years ago. He was playing a MoMA party. He was in modern art, and he came on stage, so cool. And he had his mask and the whole thing, and I was so enthralled by his performance. And so I can imagine artist to artist, that was so cool to be on tour with him. What was it like for you to experience that and be up close?
Yeah, I mean, Orville is such a professional. He really, really cares. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of different musicians and rock stars, and he's one of those ones where he puts in the work. he's at soundcheck for 3 hours. It's not the norm. And he's talking to all the fans. I just feel like he's somebody who gets it, how special it is, the position that he's in. And on top of that, just artistically, like,
so good.
So
good.
I'm so inspired by him. And about December of last year, I wrote on my list of things that my goals. I want to be BFFs with Orville Peck. So
Done.
In February, at that time, I didn't have a booking agent.
Wow.
It was just me plus one person that was helping me. And then by February, I had a booking agent, and he asked me who I wanted to tour with. I said Orville. Orville started following me on Instagram, and then all of a sudden, the things were aligning. So I kept looking back at the list, being like, oh, what what else did I ask for? This is so cool. So yeah. Dream come true.
I love it. With the spirit of manifestation, who's next on the list? Who would you love to work with at some point?
Now I've been talking about Brandi Carlile. Love her. I feel like I could learn a lot from her. So I would really love to go on tour with her.
Well, Goldie, we can't wait to see everything that's going to happen for you. We're so excited. Thank you so much for coming in here and for bringing your honesty and your talent. And it was so lovely getting to speak with you, and we're so excited about this new music.
Thank you.
Can we give it up one more time for Goldie in our studio? Thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out a few more over here, and don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. We'll see you next time.